Okay, round 3. So let's see if we can get into something today. My boy's already out there trying to figure something out. What's up? All right, let's try this again. Round 3. Let's hopefully we can get something today, anything. But it is a much different day today. Snowing. So hopefully that changes something down there and gets these damn fish start biting. As you can see, it's a lot different today. Snowing. How many of you out there love just being out in the elements and being amongst all the snow, or being in the snow like this? Just gotta be careful not to fall on my ass going down this hill. There we go. Oh, what a beautiful day. Let's see here. Just so you get an idea, augers are sharp. But that's fishing. Not too big of a cut, but enough. 4 tip-ups. You think there's got to be something. Three live minnows and 1 dead smelt. That's grade A beef for them things. I know I can't resist a good old ribeye. Well, I'm going to try to give you my best today. Despite being the only one out here, once again, if you don't have a line in, you can't catch any fish. Now my finger, I had to finally let it just bleed out, or else it wouldn't stop bleeding. So just let it bleed. Finally stopped, and now maybe I can warm my hand up a little bit. They're not too bad, but the one thing I love about being by myself and doing this kind of stuff is, once again, it's just the peace. Just being quiet, hearing the woodpecker off in the distance. It's just beautiful. Look at that. We got a, I think that's a falcon. Pretty sure that is. Pure Michigan. Where was I? One of the biggest things as a father that I want to teach my kids is mental strength. Unfortunately, or I guess no, it's part of the whole strengthening process, but it seems like every time I take my kids out, it is freezing out. I mean, talking about 5-10 degrees, wind chill probably about -5, 10. I always have those kids in the worst elements, and then usually those days we're not catching fish. But I always look back and think, oh, falcon again. Sidetracked it again. What were we talking about? Oh yes, mental strength, kids. If I can at least teach them that, or at least guide them through tough situations, and in the aftermath, tell them that, hey, think about the mental strength you created by being out in the elements, by not having everything go right. Fishing ain't called catching for a reason. Many times this kind of stuff happens. I know when we see a lot of other guys on these videos, they're catching all the highlights of being out. Part of what this video is, our last video too, is overcoming the situations and pushing through. This teaches patience, teaches you to be humble in the world we live in, just humbled by nature. And when you really stop and listen, there's a recharge with all of it. And this is part of my journey of doing this. It's feed that part of my soul. Feed that free spirit, that adventurer, so that I can be a better chiropractor, so that I can be a better father, so I can be eventually someone who can nurture a partnership. Take what I've learned from my past, like anything else, apply it to everything that is new, that is going to be new in my life. Poor little fella. He's still struggling down there. He knows he's a goner if he goes down into that deep. Nature's a bitch, boy. I'll tell you that. She don't play games. There's risks in everything we do. And once you accept that, it's more freeing. Let go. You have no control. Live life. Enjoy it. Don't be afraid of it. That's what I want to teach my kids. Don't be afraid to go venture out just because the weather isn't perfect. Honestly, some of the best fishing I've ever been done is in bad weather or bad circumstances. It seems like the harder you fight to get to where you're going, the biggest struggle. Sometimes, man, I don't know, it seems like more often than not, though, that there's so much more reward than when it's just easy. But I guess that's life, right? The harder it is, the better the reward, the more pride it is in accomplishing something. And when I see people out there doing these solo camps by themselves in the middle of these forests, like in the UP and remote areas, I give people credit. There's bravery in that, to take on something that maybe you've never been a part of. There's a big learning curve in putting yourself in these situations. So I give it to all the women that are starting to do all this, and getting out there in these elements, and I know how dangerous that is, and I give you credit for doing it. Like I've always told my kids, unless there is a life or limb on the line, it's not an adventure. I think back to all the stupid stuff, all the risks, unnecessary risks, by hiking mountains and going deep in the woods, going on rivers that run a little maybe too fast and you shouldn't be as deep as you are. But sometimes those risks have to be taken to get to some of those places where no one's really been, very few people have been. And that's part of my journey, is just sharing all that beauty out there with, I mean, I know there's a lot of people doing this and sharing the journeys of these great outdoors. But if anything, maybe I can bring a different personality to this whole thing, and not just my own personality, and hopefully entertain. And like I said, there's a lot of things that happen in my life that let's just say around a campfire, I have more than enough stories to supply a good week of campfire stories. Yeah, or something like that. But it seems like there's so many funny things that have happened, and just random. Sometimes you think, how the hell did that even happen? What are the odds of some of the shit that happens? But that's, you know, like I said, you gotta get out. You gotta just take that step out and not always be comfortable. Here's the thing is, the harder, you know, you gotta break things, you gotta learn, you gotta fall, you gotta fail. And then the more fail, I can't talk. The more you go through all that, it's you just always come out with that just much more experience and growth, and you start reaching a different level, just a different level of perception, how you see the world. And honestly, when it comes to people and arguments and everything else, one thing that gets thrown out the door is everyone's perceptions. And taking a step back and realizing that their perception is not the same as yours. We all grew up so much different. I mean, every time I heard people say, I don't know why my kids are so much different, I raised them all the same. Well, having 3 boys and myself, I realized you don't raise all of them the same. First one comes out and you're like, okay, what do we do? That was a learning experience, right? And I do give it to all you new moms out there, because once you realize you're pregnant, man, your shit's got to stop immediately. You're partying, you had good times. I mean, if that's what you were used to. I had fun in college. So when my first son when we knew he was conceived, or when she started knowing she was pregnant, I give her credit. She had to stop everything. So I give it to you guys, man, because we're just dumb. We don't even realize what's happening. I remember staring at the wall for a good 4 hours before I realized that what's really happening. And then it's a whirlwind from there. But man, the growth you have to go through. I think you truly learn patience through kids. I think they you know, we all learn so much. But anyways, back to the original thought of raising your kids the same. That first one comes out and it's like, well, let's give this a try, see what happens, hope we don't mess up too bad. And then the second one comes out and you're like, okay, I got this down a little bit, not so scared, this is kind of familiar. And then the third one comes out and you're like, do whatever you want, kid. So the first one's that leader. He's got to step up, man. I'm like, you know, the second one, you're his brother's keeper. The little one, he's, you know, you can't give him all the time that you gave the first one, because, you know, you get dealing with 2 of them. You're playing man-to-man defense now. And then when that third one comes around, now you're playing zone defense. And you got to switch up everything, blitz packages, everything. It's just so funny how different it is. And then I remember when we were disciplined, I mean, my oldest, you know, I might have spanked him a couple times, but what ultimately worked was a squirt bottle. So anytime he needed, you know, some discipline, you get the squirt bottle out, squirt the kid, and after a while, you just get the squirt bottle out, and you didn't have to squirt him. He'd just be like, okay. I was always against 1, 2, 3, you know, but my middle one, it worked. I got to 3 once with that kid, and he knew that when I started counting, He didn't mess around anymore. In fact, I'd go 1, he'd go, okay. And then he'd straighten up or do whatever he was told to do. And the last one, that kid was defiant. You know, I think most time with those, the third kid, you're just like, whatever. It's not even worth the argument. And then the older two look at him and look at each other like, did he just get away with that? Third ones, they're punks. But that's all I had in me. 3 was good enough. 3 healthy boys, and you know what? Let's not push our luck. Let's get past this baby stage. Zone defense. I know some of you can relate. Going from man to man to zone, it's no joke, man. Now, I don't know how it is raising girls. I imagine it's totally different, but with 3 boys, quiet's never good. They're destructive. And when they're not destructive, then they're scheming something up. Never forget the time I'm in practice. I'm with a client, and all of a sudden I'm hearing boom, boom, boom. I'm like, oh my God, what is that? So I told my client, excuse me, 1 second, I gotta go figure out what's going on out here. I turn around the corner. My middle son has my little son in a headlock, and he's ramming his head into the wall. What are you guys doing? Little one pops his head out right away, and he goes, oh, it's okay, Dad. It don't hurt. So I'm thinking, so Sean probably pitched the idea, hey, Colton, let me put you in a headlock and let me ram your head into the wall and let's see what that feels like. And Colton, being little brother, thinking, yeah, man, that sounds like fun. Let's do it. Oh, that's the stuff that cracks me up. Stuff I always remember. 80s were a lot different. Oh, especially with my mom had 5 boys, and with you don't leave feral animals with young feral animals without supervision. These younger generations have no idea how we grew up. No one had GPS on us. No one knew where we were. I think about how far I would ride my pedal bike. And I think, man, there's no way in hell I'd be okay with my kids riding their bikes to half the places I would when I was a kid. No way. I once lived in Denver, Colorado, and being up around Westminster area, Federal Boulevard, and I think 83rd, something like that. A couple times I almost got hit on my bike. Just trying to, push the limits of traffic. All brave, no thought. That's the thing with boys too. Boys don't think, they just do. That's why you see little ones coming with black eyes, bruised heads, running into walls, stuff like that. Are girls that destructive? All I know is we didn't buy new furniture or paint the walls very often, just because why? All them little animals were gonna do is just tear it up anyways. Oh man. Did I mention how peaceful it is out here? Yeah, something like that. Be that as it may, it'd be nice to catch some fish. Like I said, someone told me there's fish in here. Alright, well, that didn't turn out quite the way I wanted it to, but hey, that's why it's called fishing, right? It's kind of funny how things just happen outside of just catching, Sometimes you're going to have a broken auger. Sometimes you're going to have waders that have holes in them. Other times you're going to get tangled up, snags. It's not always just about catching. There's a whole life of fishing. and a lot of things that go wrong with it. So, if anything, I'm going to share with you my struggles. I'm not going to just edit everything and show you that I just catch fish, but hey, hopefully I can relate to a lot of you out there, because I know not everyone catches fish all the damn time. So I hope you liked the last couple videos. I'm going to keep producing some more, and until then, peace.